Hello, Guard here, and today I've got three old revolvers, and these used to be at my grandfather's house. They were on a board like a shadow box, and I inherited them from him, and they're three revolvers that are, two are pinfires, and this is a rimfire, and everybody knows pretty much what a rimfire is. The primer mixture is around the rim of the cartridge as opposed to a center fire, but a pinfire is a little different. I don't have any pinfire ammo to show you, but this is an early cartridge where there was a little pin that stuck out of the side of the case, and as the hammer would come down on the pin, it would strike that little rod that stuck out, that little pin, and drive it into the center, into the case itself, and that would fire the cartridge. That's why they were called pinfires. Well, these are two of them right here, revolvers that fired them. This one's about a 32 caliber. This one's like a 22 caliber. They're empty, obviously. I mean, I have no ammo for them, and they're safe right now to touch. But they're old and they're kind of unusual. They have what's called a folding trigger, where the trigger would fold up like this, so it was easier to have in your pocket or so. It was just a little fold-up trigger, and when you wanted to shoot it, you would just pull that trigger down, and then you would pull the trigger back. And if these guns did work, if you pulled the trigger back, the hammer would cock and fire. This one's, there we go. See, it's all boogered up inside. But they're old as can be. They're probably from like the early 1800s or mid 1800s, and this one's a bit bigger. It's basically the same gun, just a bigger scale version of it. It's got a loading port that comes out to the side, and you can see the notch. That's where the pin would stick out for the pinfire cartridge, and that little notch right there. So you would load it and close the loading gate, and to fire it, you would pull that trigger back, and then you would just pull the trigger, and it cocks it and should rotate the cylinder and everything, but they don't. They're old, and they were just wall decorations for the longest time. But the neat one is this one right here. I have no idea what it is. It does have a word across the top here, which if you can barely make it out these days, but it says Defender, and it looks an awful lot like a Freedom Arms or a North American Arms mini revolver. It's got a spur trigger, little bird head grip. This one doesn't have a gate or anything. The cartridge wouldn't fall out, because if it wasn't timed right, they wouldn't line up there. But when it's in a firing position, when the chambers align to the barrel, there is a little protrusion here on the frame that would keep the cartridge from falling out. So the only time a cartridge case could fall out was when you were actually cocking it. There's a brief moment where the case could come out the back. But it looks an awful lot like a Freedom Arms or a North American Arms 22. And just to kind of give you an idea of the size of that, this is a Glock 26, chamber's empty, nothing in it. And if you look at the overall length, the overall length is about the same as a Glock 26. The overall height is pretty close to a Glock 26, and the overall width is okay, good view there, is pretty similar because of the width of the cylinder. So it's a fairly big revolver. I mean, it's not something like the American Arms, which is only about that long. It's about twice the size of the North American Arms. Like I said, it's close in size to a Glock 26, which is kind of funny for its day. This was considered a concealed gun, and today this would be a concealed gun also. So it's just kind of an interesting comparison of the two guns. Here's a chamber's empty, a little Bobcat Beretta, which is smaller than this one. The overall height of the bread's a little bit taller, but the overall length is the old revolver is a bit longer to the barrel length. But they're just kind of a couple neat old revolvers. Definitely not shooters, but it would be kind of cool if a manufacturer like Freedom Arms or North American Arms were to come back with a 32 rim or a 32 centerfire, 32 ACP, and make this maybe with a shorter barrel. It would be kind of a nice little carry gun. It would compete with the North American Freedom Arms gun, but it would be a much more potent compared to the 22. Yeah. Well, anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the little ramblings here of the old guns, and y'all have a great day. Take care.